Super Soldier in Another World, Book 2, The Fiendwood. A story by Nivilack Wordwright. Chapter 1, The Unbound. Mazik scratched at his long, unkempt beard, wondering how long it would take for his guests to arrive. It was getting late in the day, and Mazik was craving his nap. He supposed that he could simply fall asleep here on the Great Bridge while he waited. It was not like he would be in any danger. The fiends crossing the bridge made sure to keep a safe distance from him. Interesting behavior. They must have instinctively understood just what Mazik was. Oddly intelligent, considering the maddening pain they felt, to know not to try and wound Mazik. It was strange, though. Mazik had certainly not told any of the fiends what he was. So how was it that they knew to avoid trying to harm him? Again, Mazik found himself thinking that it was part of their base instincts. After all, Mazik could cause pain far beyond anything the creatures had ever felt in the entirety of their cursed existences. And a fiend with even half a wit would do well to avoid that pain no matter what. He kicked his legs over the lip of the bridge, staring down at the rushing water below. The shots were all impressive in their own rights, almighty torrents that barely any ship would be able to cross without utilizing foundation. It was no surprise that trade between nations was all but impossible without the use of the Great Bridges. Fascinating constructions. They had been around since before the Myrna era, when Mazik had been born. Setstone was a truly wonderful material to be able to withstand 9 godling wars without even a scratch. Should he take some of the bricks to build himself a new fortress on the icy lashes? He doubted that anyone would notice a few pieces missing. Yes. He'd start gathering them now as he waited for "Unbound," Mazik heard a booming voice say from behind him. Mazik grinned and turned his head, a sudden gust of wind blowing his hair back as he stared at the imposing figure before him. Standing a head taller than the highest ogre and clad in silvery scaled armor, the man seemed to have stepped right out of legend. Indeed, he had the features for it, strong chin and hard cheekbones, on full display due to his clean-shaven face. Golden eyes regarded Mazik with what appeared to be contempt, or perhaps mild annoyance. It was hard to tell. Mazik had always enjoyed poking fun at these creatures. Their great pride had always been so much fun to whittle away. Of course, only one such as Mazik would be able to do so. Anyone else would certainly be turned into paste had they tried to insult such a monster. "Dragon of the East," Mazik said with a smile. "I'm glad you finally arrived. I was beginning to grow bored," he continued, standing from the ground and turning from the shot to fully face the new arrival. "I'm sure you understand what happens when I grow bored. You may have just saved the world." The dragon smoothed back a lock of silver hair from his brow, merging it with the rest of his long mane as he glared down at Mazik. "Spare me your words, Unbound. I suggest you say only what is needed, else you may suffer the consequences for wasting my time." "Oh?" Mazik asked, quirking a brow. "Do you intend on invoking the right of challenge upon me?" The dragon said nothing in response, standing there with face hard as stone. Absolutely unreadable this creature was, even for Mazik. Wise decision. All the dragons that have challenged me in the past to become the Unbound have ended up as fish food, Mazik said with a continued chuckle. "And I truly do not think you would make a good meal for my pets." "Get to the point. Why have you drawn me here to this place?" the dragon asked, crossing his arms over his chest as he continued to glare down at Mazik. Mazik hummed, placing a hand on his chin. "Well, for starters, that armor is very tacky," he said, approaching the dragon to kick his shin lightly. "Perhaps go for black and red. Or perhaps pink, that would suit you better." The dragon then turned his back and began moving away from Mazik. "Wait, it is just a jest," Mazik shouted quickly, trailing with a laugh and catching the dragon by his elbow. "I just thought I would let you know that your nephew is heading this way, if you wanted to meet with him." "Nephew?" the Eastern dragon said, shrugging off Mazik's hand as he turned to face him. "I am the only dragon of Takuma, the last dragon. You know this. I cannot have any nephews. Save me your foolishness, Unbound. We are done here. While it is true that you are the only dragon of Dakuma, Mazik continued, rubbing a hand through his long brown hair, you are by no means the only dragon that has ever lived. You know that, Mazik continued, mouth quirking up in a grin. This nephew comes from an older brother of yours, I suspect. A much older brother. The dragon of the east then furrowed his brow a moment, before giving a small shake of the head. None of the dragons from the previous ages still live, Mazik. They all died invoking the right of challenge on Zod. You know this. Not all of them, Mazik said simply, turning his back to the dragon to stare out across the shot. A truly gorgeous river, stretching infinitely towards the sun on the horizon. Did the dragon appreciate the view as well? Mazik turned to try to ask that very question, only to see that his guest had already departed. The Unbound laughed, placing a hand to his mouth as he continued to chuckle. The dragon must not have liked what Mazik had implied. Mazik understood, though. The potential return of the banished child was a terrifying thought. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you're new here, welcome aboard. Check out the description for the story and join the Discord if you like. Consider supporting the channel and the author as well. It's a dangerous world out there, but remember to be brave and look up to seek the stars.